Good Saturday morning, everybody. Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes Critic here. And today we're looking at Hyde and Hare, and this is a request. This came to us from Josh Thomas. So, Josh, thank you for emailing us at ltcommentary@gmail.com, which, by the way, is the only way you can get your requests heard, folks. Is there anybody else out there that, and again, this could just be my crummy, stoner memory, but is there anyone else out there who, unless you're actually watching the cartoon, always, I always remember this cartoon as being a Robert McKimson cartoon for some reason. And every time I think of it, when I'm not just right in front of it like I am here, it always registers in my brain as a McKimson, and I don't know why that is. It's there's nobody from the McKimson unit working on it. The same layouts that Frizz always, Holly Pratt is Frizz's usual layout guy. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't bloody know. But this is, of course, this is a, I honestly don't know if anybody knows the origins of these types of cartoons where they do this. Are people familiar with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the book, the original book, which I think eventually got made into a movie? Because it was, that was the original premise for these things when, someone, a scientist, usually the name Jekyll or a variation on the name, he's a very timid guy, and he makes some kind of concoction that brings out, the monster within him. I just wonder if, because it's something that you see referenced in animation today still. So I wonder if it's a reference to, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde to people now, or if it's a reference to all these other cartoons that reference Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. There was I remember seeing in the 90s, there was a movie with Sean, what's her name? What's her name? That's good reference there, Trev. What's her name? Sean Young. Where she was the Jekyll Hyde, she was the Hyde creature, but it was, Jekyll, the scientist, was a man, and then she was a female, obviously. I love this gag. Always gets me whenever one of those moments in Looney Tunes where the humor is based on surprise, and yet even though you know what's going to happen, you still laugh hard at it. It's not a surprise, but it's kind of like that gag I love so much in Zoom and Board. I also want to apologize. I don't know why this is happening, but I'm noticing that the playback on this is a little choppy on this cartoon. I apologize, folks. I don't know what's going on. I wish to apologize to you and Mr. Thomas. Apparently, the version of Bugs where he's green at the end here, you can play as that character in the Looney Tunes Acme Arsenal video game. I wish he hadn't given me this. I would also like to say to some of you folks out there, I'm not going to be doing any reviews of Looney Tunes video games because I don't play video games. Not to sound like a I don't know. When I, unlike Looney Tunes cartoons and animation, at some point I was of the opinion that video games were for kids.
Quick, get in here, Doc.
So yeah, I don't really play. There was the video game. They had some kind of Jekyll and Hyde, thing in the NES Bugs Bunny. I can't remember what it was.
I hope I didn't. They're such timid creatures. Oh, little bunny rabbit, where are you? Little bunny rabbit. Here, bunny rabbit.
I'm starting to work on Bugs Bunny's Halloween special, and I have to say that they did a really clever thing with this and with the other Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Tweety Bird cartoon, which unfortunately the name escapes me at the moment. But the one where Tweety turns into the Hyde character, without having to do any new animation, they edited it so that it looked like Sylvester was outside hearing a conversation between Bugs and the scientists, and then later when they leave the room, Tweety goes in and Sylvester has this dream, and it was when you're as repetitive as Frizz is, making a paste up feature is pretty easy. All you have to do is take all the times that he did the same type of thing and put them together, and it feels like it's all one cartoon.
You think they never saw a rabbit before?
Anyway, I kid the Frizz, but that's it for this week, and we'll see you next week, everybody.